May 2nd, 2021, Reverend Dr. Maria A. Seaman preached on the sermon topic, The Dynamics of the Debilitating Heart. My takeaways from that sermon are now listed in my weekly nuggets. Sermon nugget. It doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, God is looking on the inside. Sermon nugget. Is your heart beating for God? Sermon nugget. Jesus is my Prince of Peace, and He has my heart on lockdown, not COVID-19. Sermon nugget. You can speak the truth, do the right thing, but still not have a heart in Christ. Why? Because you are not walking in God's will. Sermon nugget. Drinking, smoking, fornicating, and experiencing blessings? FYI, God does not bless sin. Sermon nugget. God's will over our heart's desires always. God will bless you according to His will. Sermon nugget. God's blessings are legitimate. Don't settle for what is illegal. Sermon nugget. Don't settle for a man. God's will is a husband. Sermon nugget. God will bless His covenant, marriage, children, blessings. Sermon nugget. There are no substitutions for God. Not money, not houses, not cars, no man or woman. Nothing can take the place of God. Sermon nugget. Denying my flesh, obeying God daily, that is a heart for God. Sermon nugget. Children are innocent. Single parents, raise them in God so that they have a godly heart. Sermon nugget. Out of God's order does not mean the child will not be blessed. They must be raised to walk in God's will. Sermon nugget. Your will is not God's will. God will bless you according to His will if you are walking in His will and way. Sermon nugget. The institution of marriage is blessed. We ruin it by our actions. God's covenant of marriage will always be blessed. Sermon nugget. Sex will never keep a man. So, sex before marriage will cause you heartbreak. Sermon nugget. Sex before marriage is against God's covenant. Sermon nugget. You are in bondage with who you sleep with, who you reproduce with, what your thoughts are, all matters of the heart. Let God fix your heart. Sermon nugget. Go after God and the blessings will flow according to His will. Sermon nugget. Peace comes from having a heart in God. Sermon nugget. Have an attitude of praise and watch God bless. Sermon nugget. Allow God to give you open heart surgery. Clean heart, clean hands, and watch God bless. Sermon nugget. Your Isaac, God's blessing, will come forth if your heart is right. Sermon nugget. Our prayers are our hopes that it is God's will. God does not miss the mark. Sermon nugget. Isaac was circumcised at 8 days old. He was first, although he came after his brother. God's will. Sermon nugget. We still have hope in the children if you train them to walk in God's will. Sermon nugget. Set the example. Watch your household follow as you walk in God's will. Sermon nugget. Abraham was a role model. He got circumcised and his entire household followed God's covenant. His obedience to God's will led Abraham to become the father of nations. Sermon nugget. If you want to go to heaven, you must have your heart in order and walk in God's will and way. That is God's will. I hope these sermon nuggets have truly blessed your soul this week. May you walk in God's will and His way. And as we enter into the next weekend where it is Mother's Day, I pray that all the mothers have a blessed Mother's Day, and that you realize if you walk in God's will and God's way, He will bless your seed.